Hey, good morning, everybody. Okay, so I wanted to make this video because I thought this would be an interesting topic to talk about, and that is how in the hell did I end up having ADHD? Um, this has been a very controversial topic. I don't know how I developed this. I've heard a lot of like people that I've been following, like who are trauma coaches, talk about it's trauma related. But then I'm like, I think to myself, like, the hell, if I developed ADHD when I was a child, like, I don't know how that connects with what I was going. I knew I was going through trauma, but I didn't know what it really was. Okay, because when I got diagnosed with ADHD, and you're talking about since 2014, I'm now 36 years old. Like, it didn't make sense to me, and I know like a lot of times women get diagnosed at a later in their like I got diagnosed when I was 24, and then like I think about celebrities who have ADHD, and like, oh, I'm all about researching because I really want to get my facts straight before I really talk about shit, because some people just they say whatever and they don't really care. For me, I tend to research a lot of shit. I should have been a researcher because I like to research a lot of the things that I had. Now I knew that Nick Carter had ADHD, and of course Britney Spears have ADHD, and then so happened when I was looking at their family, like when I was researching what Nick Carter went through with his family, and looking back on House of Carters and stuff like that, I could see why he had trauma, because his family was very, you know fighting all the time, dysfunctional. And then I looked at my life. I was like, my family was just as bad as, when you see House of Cards, my family was up there somewhere. And so when I look back on why I developed this disorder and this attention span, and I'm not saying it's all bad, because it's not. There are some good sides to having ADHD. I'm I can really sing very well. I've had a lot of people, tell me that I'm a very good singer, and I know that personally. But like, dude, I was just like thinking in my head, like, how in the world did this happen? Because like, I remember talking to my psychologist about it years ago, and she told me, she said, I had this learning disability for a while now. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, when the hell did this happen? In my head, I was like, because throughout my whole life, I was just like thinking to myself, like, I was going through the same shit that everybody else went through, just thought differently, and learned differently. But I didn't like, and a lot of times we, discredit ourselves when we have a family that is dysfunctional. And looking statistically, I think the ideas of a perfect family is, I'm not saying it's not possible, but underneath the toxic culture that we already live in, I think it's pretty common for a lot of people to deal with toxicity. We deal with toxic coworkers, we deal with toxic, whoever it is in your life. You got people got toxic everywhere. So it's no wonder our environment is a big factor into that. I think another thing that I really looked about was the fact that, when I had developed ADHD, attention deficit disorder, I was just thinking in my head, like, I was like, I knew I was always very talkative. I knew I couldn't really focused as well as other people had focused. And then like, my friend Mary always she told me, she was like, Hen, it don't in her head, she was like, it don't matter what you have, and a lot of times we fault for ourselves because, of course, I get more time on like college material stuff. I'm taking medical classes now, and it's very hard for a person to sit still with ADHD. It's very difficult to focus, like, like in because your brain is like working 10 times more than a person who doesn't have ADHD. That's why it's so easy to get sucked into not having enough energy, not, you know, always feeling like you're on the edge. And that's very common for a lot of people who have ADHD. And not to mention, like when I drive, I tend to get really like antsy about it because my focus ability is not as great as I want it to be. Which I have found, like, literally. Let me show you guys a picture of this because I do want people to understand how serious this is, because a lot of people don't think that people who have ADHD, they make this shit up. Hell, I'm not making it up, and I don't think anybody else in the world would. But this is what you call let's see if I can pull it up some. This is what you call boost brain health function. It's the number one seller, like at the you can get it at Walgreens. I'm pretty sure CVS would sell it. GNC would sell it. I love GNC because you already know I am in the healthcare profession. So like I get a lot of my products. I used to buy a lot of my products from GNC. Do those vitamins really work? It just depends. For me, having ADHD, I never really, I was never a really deep sleeper. And so it was just one of those things that I had to constantly deal with. If you're a person who has attention deficit or disorder, you are going to feel more restless than people who don't have ADHD. That's really common for a lot of people with ADHD. And then, my doctor said I had restless leg syndrome, which I thought that was a load full of shit because when I took the medicine, it really did not work. So, do I really have restless leg syndrome? I think that's a myth. It may be a myth because, like, honestly, it didn't help for me. Magnesium did help for me. So I highly recommend for people who have ADHD to really look deep down into it. Like if you feel like you are misdiagnosed in any type of way, which I did tell my psychologist before to go ahead and reevaluate me to make sure I had what I had. But when I got it, I was like, the hell, I didn't know what to do with it, really, realistically. But anyways, that's one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys about. I'm gonna have to make another video, probably geared towards like how I deal with my mental health journey, because I know that's really important for a lot of people. And for me, especially because I get burnt out very easily. Like it don't take me very much for my body to just be like, I shut down underneath a lot of stress and getting overwhelmed with stuff. But I think that's common. I really believe that's common because you got, when your brain is constantly working, 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 and you feel like it's working against you, that's the reason why a lot of people have that problem. But don't default yourself on it, okay? And I know I used to do this a long, long time ago. I was like, what the hell was wrong with me? Like I was different, and all these things that people would think of, and I finally realized to myself that I had to make this disorder into something that would be a gift. And honestly, it was a gift for me because I knew how to I can pick up on things really, really quickly. I really can, I use that part of me to just to doing and just realizing to myself how much more I could do with my life. And so that's what I did with the ADHD. You know, a lot of people, you can look up a tons of videos on YouTube, I'm pretty sure, about ADHD and how to really deal with the disorder. But, you know, and then you already know you got ADHD and you got autism spectrum, and it's totally different. ADHD is different from autism. Those are two different things. Those are two different, you know, health disorders. But you know, you just gotta really do your research. And you know, when I was pregnant with my son, I was just like, I didn't know what to make of his mental health journey, but I knew that I wanted to, you know, make his brain function a lot, you know, more clearer, more focused. And so that's what I did. I ate a lot of different foods when I was pregnant with my son, and as I got, you know, I got him used to dealing with, you know, everyday life situations. It just got, I guess, you know, he became a very healthy child. So don't discredit yourself. I know, especially being a mother. For me, being a new mother was just like, you know, it was it was the icing on the top, but at the same time, I was just like, how much longer can I deal with just the focusing, you know, the focusing type of thing. But anyways, I know a lot of people talk about that, and for those of you who really have had challenges with that, I would love to hear what you guys had to say about that. But like I said, I will be making more YouTube content. You most likely after Black Friday, I'll probably be making some more YouTube content, and it's probably going to be geared more towards shopping and stuff because, of course, I love shopping. But, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this YouTube video. Until then, take care now.